welcome back to Rachel 1918. I didn't think to be on. I'll be on again at this time. But I just watched a video with Farke, and it was on the Leeds United app that I watched it on. And to be fair, it wasn't actually too bad. I thought I was going to get angry. There are things that he glosses over that he ultimately. I think it's just to me it was a PR exercise. To me it was quite annoying. At times he does his typical thing where he goes into his 25-minute rant, where he literally needs a sentence to answer a question. There was probably about 4 or 5 questions there in total, which were generally softball, as usual. And yeah, he talked about different things, which I'll touch on. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to come on. But yeah, I think we'll have to at the end of the day. I think he's under pressure. I think it's a PR exercise. He's probably spoke to the 49ers. He's probably spoke to the club. The club are probably aware of the pressure that he's under and that he has to turn around and ultimately do something to relieve the pressure going into Villa, because it's going to be everything that's talked about. It's not going to be the game. It's not going to be the players. It's not going to be the tactics, even though we don't have any. The formation. It's not going to be about none of that. It's going to be about Daniel Farke. It's going to be about Daniel Farke and how he sets up, whether he goes for a draw or a win, those type of things. And the fact is, let's be honest, it's going to be underlined. Is he going to survive the game? We all know where I am with that, but ultimately I will leave it until the end of this to give my actual overall feelings on that note. But yeah, I took a few notes, so I'll touch on them now. So just before we go into the interview with Farke, I'm just gonna have a look at the Aston Villa form, how they lined up in their last game, and what can we expect out of Villa? Let's be honest, we're probably not overestimating how hard a point will be to get out of Villa. Currently, they're sitting 6th in the league, 5 wins, 18 points. If you put that against ourselves, we have 3 wins. They're not a huge amount away in points, but in terms of quality, they are. Doesn't mean in a one-off game we can't get something out of the game. Farke did speak glowingly of Emery. He started talking about some bullshit about, he likes managers that record, down on pieces of paper during the game. Seriously? Let's not look at the stats. Let's not look at how they line up. Let's not look how they play defensively, offensively. Let's not how they go through the thirds, how they utilise the midfield too, and Kamara and Onana. Let's not forget about the runners from the midfield. Let's look at him and say, oh, he's great. He uses a notebook. A concerning thing is the fact that we should have got points off Bournemouth, or more points off Bournemouth than what we had. And they're currently sitting on 18th. So, on 18 points, as well, with Villa. And we know Bournemouth were a good team against us. And Villa dispatched them in their last game. 4-0. 4-0. They played a 4-4-2, a 4-4-1-1 and defensively. Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers up front. Not bad. Now, my concern is, yes, they've got a good team. They have a very good team. We all know that. They're in Europe for a reason. They're sitting 6th in the league for a reason. Something Daniel Farke didn't touch on is that out of their last 5 games, they've won 4. They've beaten Burnley 2-1, Tottenham 2-1, Man City 1-0, got beat by Liverpool 2-0, and they beat Bournemouth 4-0. Now, let's throw that against what we did, or what we have done. We've lost 4 out of our last 5 games. You put the West Ham game in there, and obviously that's the caveat. So that was the game we won in the last 5. The problem that I have is we have to be real. We have the players that can cause this team trouble. There's no doubt in that. I'm just worried about the manager and the tactics. And after he spoke about Emery glowingly, which I can understand, to be fair, Emery is a great manager. But if you're speaking about an opposition manager glowingly, and then you're asked about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and your answer to that is, I don't rate my striker on goals. Why? What? I am not out for the golden boot. What? Surely any striker in the league would love to win the golden boot. Why are you... What? 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 Make it... What kind of fucking answer is that? I am not out for a golden boot. If our striker's scoring goals, we're winning games. Or we're drawing games that we possibly would have lost. What an absolute stupid answer that was. And it's not the first time he said it. He said it before. I understand he's maybe trying to take a wee bit of heat off DCL. The fact of the matter is, Daniel, your tactics are woeful. Daniel, you're asking DCL to run around like a lunatic and then get himself in a position to score a goal. And the fact of the matter is, if he is in a position to score a goal, he's knackered because he just run around everywhere. Because he's no support. He's got nobody backing him up. The wingers are on the byline. Well, Brendan Aronson's not on the byline. Brendan Aronson's anywhere else but the right hand side of the pitch. And as I said before in a previous video, when Aronson's ghosting like that into the middle of the pitch, into traffic, it stops Jayden Bogle getting forward because they can double team him and hold him down the pitch, which means we have nothing on the right hand side. They double team Okafor. I'm not saying about Villa, I'm saying it in general. Which means we've less attacking output from the left. So we have nothing through the centre because we're playing 3 central midfielders that don't track runners. So again, another softball interview, and I'm just like, ask the important questions. Ask the questions we want asked. We want answers. I don't get it. I don't get why. It's quite obvious a PR exercise from the club. There's no doubt in that. The club are trying to put fires out. They're trying to buy time. I think they're probably selling it to him. Look, you're under pressure. Go and try and get a wee bit of time with the fans. The reality is, Daniel, you're done with the vast majority of the fans. We have no identity. I would love to be able to break down the Leeds squad and say, well, I would love this player to come in and that player to come in against Villa. I'd love to do it. But I'm expecting Brendan Aronson to come in and play on the right. Dan James is fully fit. Willie Gnonto's fully fit. But I expect Brendan Aronson to come in. I'm hoping and praying that Dan James starts and Willie starts and we go 4-2-3-1 and take the game to them. Especially if they play offensively in a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1. If that's the case, then why can we not just match them up and go more offensive? Take one of the midfielders out and put in Willie and play 4-2-3. Okafor, Willie and James in behind DCL and have a fucking go. That's one of the things that really drove me mad about that. To be fair, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting, but it is so frustrating whenever you listen to the man and he is saying he's not out for a golden boot. Surely that is one of the dumbest answers I've ever heard a manager speak. And he also said that when asked about how the season's going, so far so good. If you look at it in a situation where you've got 11 points from 11 games, and you contextualize it, and you say, well, it's 11 points in 11 games. That's a very good start, for a promoted club, which is decent enough, yeah. But then you look into it, and then you look at the fixtures that are coming up. You look into it. I'll give you an example. We have to play Man City. We have to play Chelsea. We have to play Sunderland. We're playing Villa. We have to play Man United. We have to play Liverpool. We have to play Palace. That's 8 of the top 10 still to play. That was 7 of the top 10. Sorry, 7. We have to play 7 of the top 10. We have 11 points in 11 games, and yet we have still to play 7 of the top 10 teams. There's always context. There's always a caveat, Daniel. It's just not good enough. Our next 4 games are horrendous. And let's be honest, you're not surviving them. If you're looking at stats, and I'm not going to go stat heavy, I could do, but I'm not going to. If you're looking at the likes of the stats, 3 wins, 2 draws, 6 losses. 3 wins, 2 draws, and 6 losses. And the 3 wins that we have, one's against Everton in the opening day, as I've said before. And the other 2 wins are against second from bottom and bottom of the league at the time. 2 worst teams. Yet in another interview yesterday, you turned around and you said that the big performances against the big teams, and you classed that West Ham as a big team. Daniel, I just think you're out of your depth, my man. I am so tired of it now that I don't want to break down anymore. I am physically, mentally exhausted. And we haven't even got to the Villa game yet. I'm just hoping and praying everybody comes back. And then I know we give Brendan a lot of shit and a lot of grief and all the rest, but I'm hoping everybody comes back. I do not want Daniel Farke to have one excuse going into that Villa game. I want him to have a fully fit squad. I want us to win. I really want us to win. I want to stay in this league. I just don't think Daniel Farke is the man to do it. It's as simple as that. He said results could be better. Okay, maybe making subs whenever you shouldn't make subs, and then concede a goal from a set piece directly after that isn't the wisest thing to do, i.e. Bournemouth. Maybe whenever you're playing against Brighton, you ask your midfield to run and track. Maybe the same against Forest. Maybe you don't switch off directly after scoring a goal. Maybe from the sideline you don't blame everything on the players. Maybe you take a bit of responsibility yourself. You're constantly calling out the fans, saying we're passionate, saying we're emotional. Then you're calling out the players on the pitch. You're always throwing your arms out. You're always gesticulating. So, at what point are you going to take some responsibility, Daniel? I haven't heard you take responsibility once. Not once. So when are you going to do it? You were asked about Rodon, and you said that you never doubted that he had a point to prove. You called him out earlier on in the season for absolutely nothing. The man was on an international duty, and you called that man out for nothing. And how did he celebrate, Daniel? He cupped his ears when he scored, didn't he? He cupped his ears. Did you see that? And people say he's got the whole changing room behind him. It's a damning indictment that your centre back has 2 goals, that your left winger in Okafor has 2 goals, and they're the top goal scorer. Now, we have played 11 games, and our top goal scorer's got 2 goals in 11 games. But apparently that's okay if you're Daniel Farke. He doesn't care about the golden boot. He was asked about set pieces and why long throw-ins are now in fashion. And he says he doesn't like using them all the time. He likes to, especially a newly promoted team, he likes to play football. Why? We all like to play football, but you play to your strengths. If Ethan Ampadu can throw a 60-yard ball, you put him on the fucking throwing and you throw it into the box. What pisses me off is this. Daniel Farke was asked about a long throw in. Yet whenever we get a free kick on the halfway line, what do? We'll pass it back to the centre back or we'll pass it back to the keeper. We don't go forward. We've one of the biggest teams in the league. It's the land of the giants at our club right now. Land of the giants, we have massive midfield, yet we don't utilise it. We have massive centre backs, we don't utilise them. We have a 6'2", 6'3" centre forward, don't utilise them. What do? Pass it back to Perry. We are not good enough to play from the back, yet you want to play football in the Premier League. This is going to be the downfall of us. You play to your strengths. If your strengths are long ball and win the breaking ball, the knockdowns, you need to earn the right to play football in the Premier League, and we don't have that right. If you're going to go up against the next 4 teams in Villa, in City, in Chelsea and Liverpool and try to play football, we're going to concede another 20 goals within 4 games. It's just as simple as that. A blind man can see what's happening. I just don't understand why you can't, Daniel. What annoyed me about the whole thing is that you have a softball interview, almost like it was staged, if you know what I mean. Almost like the club wanted this to happen. Almost like Daniel made a phone call, maybe to one of the lads in LUTV. Come on up here and stick this out, because I know I'm under pressure, but we can maybe see what we can twist some of the fence sitters, maybe get them back on side for the weekend. Listen, Daniel, we're going to support the club. We're going to support the team. Every time we score, we'll cheer. Every single time we score, we'll cheer. And if somebody's at fault for a goal, we'll call them out. But it's clear that you're just not the right man. It's for our club. If you truly cared for our club, like you say you do, you would understand you're not the right man for the job. You know, he talked about set pieces as being an important tactic. Okay, at the beginning of the season, we were decent at the corners. Yeah, I have to take that. I have to give that. But Longstaff at the last few games has been abysmal, and we've got nobody else to take them. Set pieces, you could include throw-ins, but he doesn't like doing them too often. Why? Because it means people have to go forward, and he would take a nosebleed if he got people forward. You know, we're not good enough to sit back because we've conceded 20 goals this season, 15 away from home, by the way. We're playing Villa at home. We have to take the game to them. The problem is, he started speaking about Leeds, and it's clear that he has tried to not use the term emotional, because he knows it's pissed people off. He knows that people feel like he is patronising us. But all he has done is change it to passion, to passionate. It's the same bullshit. This is a different word. We're not stupid, Daniel. Stop gaslighting. Big history, big club, passion, 25 years of turmoil, that type of thing. He's trying to get under our skin, talking about all the previous history and the managers we've went through, all that shit. We understand, we've lived it, Daniel. That's why we are like we are. That's why we are who we are. We've got a thick skin at this club. We've put up with a lot of shit. I've stood in End Road in the freezing cold, playing Millwall in League One. Bristol Rovers. I played them shitty teams, and they were shitty teams at that point. I watched Treasure Candle playing, up front with Beckford. There's a lot of players who could go around. Sean Gregan. We watched that shit. There's a reason why we are emotional and passionate. And it's not just the glorious history that we had back in the 70s, early 90s, early 2000s. We had a decent run in Europe before Ridsdale fucked us. It's not always about the ups, but the downs. The downs brought us all together. They keep us together. They made us a family. You know who you are when you've got that many downs and you're still standing. And we're still here and we're still supporting the club. And we will be when you're gone. You gotta understand that. So don't come for me patronising. Don't come to this club, to these fans, and patronising and gaslighting us. It's not gonna work, Daniel. You say that you're ready for the criticism, you're ready for the pressure, and this bullshit about last season. Oh, every time it drew, they wanted to change the manager or change the formation. Well, tell me one reason we should not change from a 4-3-3 this season, Daniel. I'll give you one. We don't have the players for it. Not right now. You've played 11 games. You may put Dan James on and he does well. Brendan Orange is not a winger. Willie Nutt was fit. Why did he not play? Why is DCL completely isolated? Why is our midfield completely outran and left behind every game? Why did you give up the West Ham second half? You have to answer the questions, because that's criticism. And it's criticism because you've been shocking so far this season. And there's no questioning that. He said he has to stay calm. Daniel, if we stay calm, nothing changes. If we don't voice our opinion, nothing changes. We go down. As Conor McGilligan said in his video with his father the other day, we go down and we're sleepwalking back to the championship. It's as simple as that. And I 100% agree with that sentiment. Because right now, that's exactly what we're doing. We're sleepwalking straight back to the championship. Why have you got such an issue with our youth? You let players go. You don't have a full squad, Daniel. You let players go. You won't speak about Harry Gray. You won't give him a chance. It's almost like you don't want him to be bigger than you. You mentioned Joel Perot today in this interview. Perot's nowhere near that level. You know it. You know it. Why should we listen to a man that talks so much tripe like yourself? Why can you not answer a question? If I ask you a question, why not just answer it? Why do you take 20 minutes to answer a question? You go round the houses. Why should we trust you from now to the end of the season? Or even, we've got 7 of the top 10 clubs coming up in our next run of games. Why do you deserve to even be in the dugout for the Villa game? Are you better than Bo Svensson? Are you better than Thiago Motta? Are you better than Rosa? That's just 3 names linked. I'm not saying they're going to get the job, but there are 3 names linked. And I don't think he's better than any of them. And the reality is, we need something to change. Let's be honest, guys. Let's be completely honest here. Daniel Farke today released that video, well, the club did, because he's been a PR disaster. The football's been shite. I could be more analytical about it, but let's be honest, the perfect description. The football has been shite. This is purely a crash course on PR. This is firefighting We're not stupid, Daniel. Don't treat us stupid. I know you patronise us. Don't take us for fools. I'm squarely on the Farke out. If we beat Villa, I'm still Farke out. I want Leeds to win, but I want Farke out of my club. I'm sick of being gaslit. Thank you for watching, Rachel. Please like, comment, subscribe, and maybe back on tomorrow again. I didn't mean to come on today again, but it is what it is. Again, thanks. And just remember, when he goes, when they all go, we're always here. It's us fans that are the life and soul of this football club. And don't let anybody use our history to patronise us. On, on.